Oh snap! Yeah, no, this is Deathplex.
She must be pretty short because Garma, unless he had a growth spurt between Origins and
7 months.
I mean, clearly he was like 17, 18, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, beneath me is Justin, below him is Lessons, and we are back with episode 10, there you go, of Mobile Suit Gundam. Who wants to remind us of what happened last time?
See what crunchyroll has to say about that, because my memory is also faulty. Last episode was Fly Gundam. In this episode, Amuro lets petty it seems to have been written by Theta. Amuro lets petty annoyances like being tired, not getting any sleep, murdered a bunch of people. Well, fought them and killed them. You know, petty things. Get to him and refuses to fight. Bright tries to rally Amuro by beating the crap out of him, but it only incites him to rebel even more and ends in a great argument. Actually, that was inside the argument, but yeah, it's on to Frau basically tells her either you do it or I'll not only pilot this, but you're not getting any Nuki. That Amuro says, no, you can't do that. I'm gonna go and do it. However, upon hearing Bright invoke the name of Char as well, Amuro decides to sortie and use the Gundam to display his astonishing tactics, which consisted of leaping about like a madman and shooting down fighters in the air while he was jumping, kind of doing the Hulk thing, but with retro boosters and up, that sort of thing.
I mean, I'm just a little bit vindicated that the synopsis agrees with me. I mean, it's not like I edit the wikis moments before we record or anything.
Well, this is from Crunchyroll, so yeah.
Oh, yeah. I work for Crunchyroll.
I was gonna say, don't you own Crunchyroll?
Oh, yeah. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Or woman.
You're the crunchy in the roll, yeah.
Or non-binary. Whoever actually owns Crunchyroll, I am they. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, we had a whole discussion at the end of the episode about
Very much so.
that whole thing where at least one of us disagreed. I think Lessons falls on my boat with the whole Shinji argument.
Actually, no. I am more
Of course you don't.
Is,
of course you don't.
It is very much physical abuse, but it's since I'm familiar with the show and we already seen multiple slaps. My tendency is like, yeah, this is the show. This is how the show
70s,
deals with
man.
anything. Yeah, this is how the show deals with it,
Well, it's not even about that. Like, Bright isn't his dad. Bright is a frustrated military commander who needs a weapon in action by all means necessary. Yeah.
I also understand 70s and all that, and like when I get the context and everything, and I understand it within the time it came out and all of that. I don't think it's egregious within the time period. As stated, it's just my least favorite moment.
Well, I mean, I could understand somebody. Manic isn't the word I want to use here. Flippant is too light of a word. I can understand somebody losing themselves to, we need you to do a thing. You're the only one sufficiently able to do it. We feel like we're all going to die if you don't, and you're acting like a child in our point of view. Like, you use your words, and if your words don't do it, we need him to do it regardless of anything he feels. Can we beat it into him? Like, I can see where you might accidentally kill somebody following this train of thought. Fuck it, get into the thing, Amuro, I'm gonna stab you. You stab me, I'll die, and then we'll all die, because nobody will get in the gun. I am fucking at my wit's end here, Amuro. Something's gonna happen. We all might regret it, but something's gonna happen.
He can always go later to Miss Sila to get an ice pack on that face, because he's gonna need it.
Right. I guess not to be forgotten, Char attempted to kill Garma, I think.
Attempted to kill per se. Well,
he says Garma says, do not interfere with the fight no matter what, and then proceeded to create a situation where Garma could not communicate with them, inferred that they would be in trouble if they tried to help Garma, and then Garma points out, hey, you saw I was in danger back there, indicating that they could clearly see Garma was about to be killed by the Gundam had he not flown over the mountain range. And then I guess being talked to by Matilda not to follow him.
Also, we do know that earlier episodes, Char was counting on Garma to take the lead, either go in a mobile suit or something like that. And he's like, oh, he's not like, basically he's saying he's not taking the bait, right? He's not going out there and doing it. Yeah.
The earlier episodes, he was using Garma's failure to prove that his failure wasn't that bad. So he's making Garma take the fall and then increasing his stature. Oh, I didn't suddenly become bad at my job. This is just a really hard job. I'm as good as your little brother. Sorry, I was going to say nephew for some reason. I'm as good as your little brother is. At least. He's doing just as badly as I have done.
He has far more resources than I have, so...
Yeah. So
which he literally says he has even more resources than I had.
Yeah, so he's using Garma to prop himself up first. And then what he just... Like, obviously I'm not saying, oh, he put a bomb on his shuttle. Like, no. He didn't actively try to kill Garma. He tried to create a scenario where Garma could be killed, which is just as good as murder.
I mean, Char's being the kind of, and he is being a villain here, but he's the smart kind of villain that takes advantage of the situation. I don't think he's been prodding it, but he knows he can't control the moment to moment, right? But if he sees an opportunity, he takes it and nudges situations into a favorable position. But he's not so much a chess master that he's, every single move, he's not puppeteering every word that is coming out of Garma or something like that. Like another writer would have like Char be like, and then if I say this, he's gonna do that, blah blah blah. It's like, no, well, I'm gonna see what happens. And
I think we've discussed it before that Char is not planning, right? He is taking advantage of situations that fall in front of him. He is the same thing you're saying about, like, if he was that planning guy from another author. He is super intelligent when it comes to understanding how any scenario that's currently playing out in front of him could help him. He's not like, well, obviously if I do this, then they'll do that. He's got fucking no idea what's about to happen. Same thing, like, oh, I didn't know they were going to try and save Revel. That's what Revel's doing here. Huh. If I let Revel go, this is going to make me look good. Sorry, sir. On your way.
So he's the kind of villain I like, the one that is adaptive and smart, but without being super genius,
Yeah, chess master, alternate reality Char would have been like, oh, I knew Kycelia would be up to something like this. Good to see I knew exactly what was happening. On your way, Revel. That guy is not the guy we have. The guy we have is like, what the fuck? How the fuck did Lino figure this out? I don't know, we're about to go into a fight. I'm sure something will happen. All right.
Yeah.
Anything?
Justin's face is like.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Anything else we want to bring up before we get into Garma's fate?
Yeah. That I'm becoming I wasn't so well. Thing is I know stuff that Char does later. Justin Rule.
I mean, not even Justin Rules. I remember exactly what I said at the preview of last episode, to the hatred of everyone that asked, why do you guys watch previews? It's on the fucking episode. Anyway, I remember exactly the same thing. I remember exactly the same thing I said at the end of last episode when the preview popped up. When it says Garma's fate, and Icelina, the girl shown that's supposed to be his girlfriend, I guess, is crying right over the Garma's fate. It's like, oh, I wonder what's about to happen. I wonder what Garma's fate is.
I meant liking Char, because I didn't like Char before. I mean, I know he was a good, well-written character, but I thought he was overhyped. and because of stuff that happens later, which is just in rule. But now I can see why people really like Char and Char like characters to the point that Char gets repeated in multiple iterations.
I don't
of
actually
Gundam.
like a lot of Char clones, or I guess even most Char clones I don't like. It's just I started with Gundam Wing, so Zex. I know Zex is a Char clone because people before I never saw this. I just know people called him a Char clone. It's like I love Zex as a character. I would clip that. I love Zex. But yeah, I like Zex way more than I like Char. At least as far as I know Char, obviously. He might turn out to be a better character later on, or to be different.
Oh, Sex started as something of a hero, and
well, I think I've mentioned this before. Like the first thing we see when we need to show Zex is good at being a pilot is he gets into a normal ass Leo and like jumps out of a plane to fight a Gundam, and then kind of wins because he's like, I'm holding you now in midair. You're gonna fall to the ground and die. Does that thing I wish Zaku pilots would do. It ejects. He gets out, looks at the Gundam, like standing hand onto the head of the Leo, looking out, standing on his shoulder, looks at it, pulls the ripcord, and parachutes away. It's like, I just jumped out of a fucking plane, beat a Gundam, and got the hell out. That's badass, especially as your first thing. So...
Well, also, if we know that the Zaku's once like struck are gonna go boom.
Only if they're struck not or only if
Of
they're struck
course.
everywhere but the cockpit, I guess. It depends.
Of course.
Well, it's supposed to be that if you breach the reactor, they go boom. Which, if they're supposed to be a fusion reactor, that's not so how it's supposed to work. But nuclear power makes everything goes boom.
If you hit anywhere but the head, the arms, or the legs, and the cockpit, they explode in a nuclear fireball. Apparently.
Either way, if it's relatively like if it's known that that's the case, shouldn't part of the training be if you get hit this way, hug the person who did it to you? If they are close, just grab them.
I mean, as hilarious as that would be, I made this commentary, I think, right after the first episode, or must have been third episode since we do these in twos, of how horrible it would be to fight in formation with Zaku's, because, you're shooting, and all the time you're worried, God, I hope one of my guys doesn't get hit, or else we're all going up, and I don't know what the chain reaction would be on a Zaku explosion.
All I'm saying is if someone uses a sword and I see that my reactor's hit, I'm gonna run up and backpack the shit out of their Gundam.
I mean, I think we'd all like to think that that's the move, but we all know that the next 5 seconds are going to be screaming for help and then exploding. Or, and the one guy crawl over the cockpit to get nowhere and then explode and die. I guess to be fair to everyone that I'm like, God, I wish these Zaku pods would like bail out. It feels like that one, was it a BattleTech game? Where the trailer is, they're getting into a fight, and then when the Atlas rounds the corner, and then this guy's like mech is going critical, and he bails out, but then the mech has like a nuclear explosion beneath him, which implies that he's just parachuting down into a nuclear fireball, which is what I imagine would happen to the Zaku pilots.
Yeah.
So, not great either way. But then again, that's health and safety. The HOA, that's the wrong organization.
That's the homeowners association.
HIPAA is going to have a real problem with this. So let's get into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
So my guess that is Operation Iffish.
I mean, they start every episode showing you Operation British, so...
Yeah.
Sorry, I got two things mixed up. Operation British, Island Iffish is what I meant to say. I had to think that's Island Iffish. Although, it's like on the equator, so it doesn't seem right. But then again, you could have your camera angle, whatever angle you want it to be.
Yeah.
It's cloud and ocean for all we see on the the planet, so we don't actually know where it's at. Because I just don't know why you'd be doing a... I don't know what kind of eclipse that would be.
I think it's supposed to be like a
If you
shockwave
were...
around
No, I mean,
around the world.
I mean, if you were like standing on the moon and the sun is behind the Earth, what kind of eclipse that would be? Because
An
you could
Earth
see it
eclipse?
as like the Earth passing in front of the sun. That's the last bit of the sun, and then you see the outline of the sun behind the Earth. That kind of eclipse.
Partial eclipse. Partial eclipse.
Could be.
Well, no. I mean, there's different names for the eclipse when it's the moon between us, and depending on what's between you and the sun. I know there is specifically a name for that kind of thing. I just don't know what it is. But it did perfectly eat up the entire opening, so that was a good conversation. And hopefully somebody does have a comment, because I'm not going to look it up, and I am willing to read it in a comment.
You know, those bridges can be pretty scary because you're driving along those bridges and you look down and it's like this huge space. You know,
Really, Lessons? Scarier than the Milky Road? When you're just in the middle of space and the fleet could fold around you at any moment.
Yeah, the Milky. I mean, I never liked the Milky Road. I thought it was a bit silly.
Yeah,
you know.
I have to think that Justin thinks we're talking about candy bars.
No.
That was literally the first time I saw this with Griffin. That was my first comment. It was like, I would not want to drive those bridges. But I think about the Chesapeake Bay Bridge because I grew up in Maryland. Because I would get terrified. I had a whole discussion about. I said agoraphobia before. I don't remember what it is. Fear of wide open spaces. Yeah, my mother's car back in the day had a T-top roof, so I'd be like this, looking at the bridge, going, ah.
I would love it, but I can, if you have that kind of fear, I could, perfectly understandable.
It's an irrational fear in my book, but I have it, so. Oh, I wonder who that dead-looking ass guy in the picture was.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, interesting skin tone.
Yeah. Look at all the collaborators here. Like I said, the collaborators.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, I'm on Zeon's side, though, so I can't, complain about them.
Clearly the ladies' man.
Anti-Trojans, that's how my wife got pregnant.
前の市長のエッシェンバッハだ。彼はジオンを憎んでいるが、市民の保護のためにここに留まった。頑固そうな親父だな。イセリナ・エッシェンバッハ様のお見えでございます。そうですか。
All right.
So the next time on implies that Garma's girlfriend, but we just also said her dad hates Zeon.
Yeah.
ジオン軍の総帥たるザビ家の息子に娘はやれぬとおっしゃられた。はい。
Hey, Zion, you think, of the Sabi family.
Oh, snap. Yeah, no, this is Death Flex.
She must be pretty short, because Garma, unless he had a growth spurt between Origins and
7 months.
I mean, clearly he was like 17, 18, yeah.
父とて私の無理を聞き入れてくれます。ガルマ様。それで聞き届けてもらえねば、私もジオンを捨てよう。ガルマ様。
Free, son.
I mean, literally, I'm pretty sure his family would be fine with it.
ガルマ様、何事だ。あ、これは構わん。
Pretty sure his dad had that whole line about you should have trained him for something else instead of the military.
予定通りだよ。あそこに防衛ラインもある。私も機動一個中隊で現地へ向かう。
I mean, fair, if you plan to suck at your job, you'll do great at your plans anyway.
連邦軍の新兵器を奪い取ったら国に送り届ける。その時にはあなたもご一緒に。
Bring it to the fatherland. I mean, the homeland. Yes.
You know when a show just says, "Hey, you see this guy? You see them making promises?"
I can't tell who's worse at stealth in this world. The Federation, who paints its shit blue, white, yellow, or Xeon. Sometimes it's green, with dark green, which is great. But, you know, bright purple and red.
Well, I mean, we know that purple is Imperial purple is Garma's color, so of course his ship is going to be purple. His spacesuit is purple. His spaceship wasn't purple, though. His fighter wasn't purple.
No, his fighter was purple.
No, his fighter wasn't purple. It was like gold or something.
That was purple.
Or
I'm talking about
it
the
was-
one from last episode. Was purple.
exactly that one. That wasn't purple. It was orange or something. I don't know. It was weird color, but it wasn't
I
purple.
love that you're willing to say no, it wasn't that, and then you list like 3 different colors.
It had a weird color, but it wasn't
It
purple.
was purple.
It was like a deep fuchsia, not a purple. Okay.
It was neon.
But what type of neon?
It shone with a color that made religious scholars cry on first sight. They wrote indescribable. Should have sent a poet.
And he didn't even know it.
Of course, it's a baseball stadium. It's a Japanese anime.
敵から発見されるのを極力避けるため、ホワイトベースの動きをすべて停止する。
It'll be super hard to hit a home run, though.
ブライトさん、反対します。それでは、アムロはガンダム。
It's the Astros. We're gonna play the Astros.
まだ我々は民間人を抱えていることを忘れるな。
The Dragons versus the Astros.
民間人です。各自は第一戦闘配備のまま待機。次の指示があるまで物音一つ立てさ
Oh,
せるな。
I noticed that the lieutenant got off. The ship, I mean.
Yeah.
Did he?
Well, he's not there. And he was wounded.
Right. It's possible they took him on the gun parry. I just don't remember them saying anything.
180度回答。
了解180度回答
Okay.
I will note that I am a bit flippant and jokey in these episodes. When we start getting to the episodes, I have no idea about what happens. I will start being a lot more quiet, and a lot more attentive.
I was gonna say something, but it was gonna be very bad.
I'm just saying, I'm acting with the knowledge of knowing.
No, about it, her backing up into the stance.
Oh yeah, don't be like you're from the 70s.
Yeah.
あ ダメですよライトなんかつけるから
Honestly, who does that?
This kid's trying to sleep and you just shining a light in his face.
すいませんちょっと目を離した隙にはぐれちゃって坊やよかったわね
パトロールルー君。
So it's what, like 10 squadrons and 3 gauze?
よく探せ。
Mm-hmm.
穴に逃げ込んだネズミを
Search harder. How do you search harder? You can search more, I suppose, but harder?
直ちに爆撃を開
Ah,
始
it's
し
a
ろ。
shame we don't have, like, I don't know, space superiority or complete air dominance that we could have kept an eye on them. How did they escape our mission?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they know they're in the area.
Also, what did you build? What did you build this baseball dome to protect people from? It's taking like aerial bombardment with no problem.
Hey, baseball's that important, okay?
Look, people have been taking steroids for many years now. Those balls are hitting this thing hard.
They actually have the steroid league. You have to be on a minimum dosage.
I gotta say, Scylla is stone cold. Everybody's like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "What? Never been carpet bombed before, bitch? What the fuck?"
お話、あなたに何がわかるもんですか。お嬢様、今行くことは死にに行くようなものです。
お嬢様、なりません。お父上がお呼びです。
お前たち失礼ですよ。
お嬢様、
嫌です。私には行くところがあるんです。お話ったら、お父様などに私は何もないので。
ジオンの頭目の息子が嫁に欲しいだと。
Oh, snap.
お父様にだって私を自由にする権利はないわ。私には自分で自分の
You're in
道を選ぶ
occupied
権利が。
territory. You have no freedom.
She's the girlfriend of Garma. She has the most freedom of anybody. Well, except for her family. Get the sense that I'm always going to like the people you guys hate.
I mean, I don't hate her. She's a victim of it, but the fact that she says, "You can't deny me my freedom," is like, you're in their occupation.
It's a love story. She is the victim of the love story.
That means she's a victim of the writers.
Justin rule?
Something like that.
That's what she said.
No, Garma, don't do it.
当たり前だろう。私は君の部下。今はそうだが、もともと君はドズル兄さんの直属だ。私だって。いつになく興奮しているようだが。
It's served. Make sure you actively still serve under Dozel.
Yeah.
任せる。うん。私がイセリナのために焦っているだと。バカな。私は冷静だ。
No, you're not.
He's relatively calm.
Yeah, but he's doing a hair thing.
Well, I mean, he let Char talk him out of the thing, which was more flippant. You think he wouldn't?
Yeah,
and good old Zeon for you two.
Garma's gonna do so well.
Well, it's Char that's launching, it's not Garma.
そしてさっきの君の戦術でいく。君がおとりになってザクとできたら敵の本体もだが、ホワイトベースの前に来るようになんとかおびき出してくれないか、アムロ。そしてそこをホワイトベースで一気に叩く。了解。ガンタンク、ガンキャノンもホワイトベースの前で待機だ。行きます。あそこへ。
Okay, what are we seeing here?
Fire started by the bombing. Delayed, but still. Kind of makes sense. Probably a lot of dry material. I'm being a bastard. Doesn't sit well with me, but I'm not stopping being a bastard, so.
見つかった。
Being a bastard is very much what he knows.
妙だ。いや、いる。敵は近い。
Oh, thank God we oiled the Gundam up before we came out.
シャアだ。あれに当たるわけにはいかない。モビルスーツめ、やるようになった。
Looks like it's learning.
I do like that they gave the explanation that the Gundam is a learning machine.
やるな、モビルスーツめ。我々をおびき出すつもりか。ということは、木馬は後ろだな。なるほど、いい作戦だ。仇討ちをさせてもらう。待っていた、シャア。モビルスーツが逃げるぞ。その先に木馬がいるはずだ。追えるか？追うさ。
It very much doesn't seem like the gauze have like a great turning radius either. Also, think it
Agreed.
was implicated by the scraping the wing from earlier or last episode.
ビーム砲を開け。前期攻撃スタンバイ。
ブライト、敵の変態機が行くわ。
よし、未来、位置に戻れ。攻撃をかける。
はい。
ガンタンク、ガンキャノン、ホワイトベースの各砲座、銃撃手は各々照準合わせ。10秒後に一斉射撃。10、9、8、7、6、5、4、3。
Okay, here we go.
撃て！
Oh, yeah, no, that's bad.
Wait, what's happening? Uh-oh.
どうした？後ろから攻撃を受けました。後ろ
They're
だと。
being bombarded.
木馬です。木馬が後ろから。上昇だ。上昇しろ。無理です。180度回答だ。ガンを木馬にぶつけてやる。
Welcome. Take him out.
ガルマ、聞こえていたら君の生まれの不幸を呪うがいい。何？不幸だと？
Oh shit, was this radio on?
さあ、お前は？君はいい友人であったが、君の父上がいけないのだよ。
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
シャア、測ったな？シャア！
You'd be surprised about how little I planned this.
I improvised.
私の手、サビ家の男だ。恥にはしない。敵一機、本艦に向かってきます。
I love. Hey, I love the fact of the commitment till the very end.
上昇しろ。緊急上昇だ。
Oh, he's a savvy man through and through.
全員セロー。ジオン広告に栄光あれ。
Good.
Zigzion.
Garma struck, and now we found out Garma's fate.
I just think it's sad you couldn't like couldn't have at least pinged off of them or something. Give the man something before he goes.
Yeah, but he's not a Centrati, so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where to go with that. People also that doesn't make sense. People ram into Centrati ships. They don't. Centrati don't ram into people.
They do. They did.
Do you remember
Last
Love?
ep-
People ram into Centrati ships. Kinryu rams into a stolen Centrati vessel. They're constantly getting rammed.
The last episode. It was the other way around.
そうか。わかった。ありがとう。娘にそう伝えておこう。伊勢里奈。
お父様
I'm gonna tell her that your boyfriend is dead.
ガルマは戦死したそうだ。
Run away crying.
Well, why not? Her boyfriend just
no.
died.
Oh, 100%.
ガルマ様なぜなの
It's just war.
Especially
And
after
Char-
I give it one last chance, and if I can't do it, I'll give up the whole thing, and we'll run off together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ジオン公国を名乗る宇宙都市国家は月の向こうに浮かぶ。今ここに
The not looking evil palace.
ガルマザビの死が急報された。
True. Completely normal, friendly people palace.
Yeah.
And the bear has been poked.
すなわちガルマの父デギンザビは死者の前でその杖を落とした。
Well, actually stood up, then dropping his cane.
Yeah. I didn't need the narrator to tell me that. It's like,
戦いに終わりはない。ガルマの仇を討つべく生き残り部隊が特攻をかける。ガンキャノンの竜を伴ってガウを討ち取るアムロの前に美少女が立つ。その震える拳銃がアムロを。機動戦士ガンダム次回伊勢里奈恋の後。君は生き延びることができるか。
I mean,
Is
Not
she going to the
to-
front lines of the battle?
not to spoil anything sorry, expectations. I really like the next episode. I really like the next two episodes, but I really like I'm sorry, I felt myself tearing up a little bit because that whole relationship, I know it's only been one episode so far, but I don't know, it just really touched me a bit,
It's
especially
well
with
laid out.
the next time on, kind of expressing that. Because if it's literally a beautiful young woman pointing a gun at Amuro, and it's like, oh, I'm remembering the notes that I wrote. I think it's a horrible thing that I remember my notes more than the show, but it's probably because my notes come from rewatching and thinking about things more than I do during the reaction.
Mhm.
for those of us who have, of course, watched Origins and know about Garma, the fact that this is really the first in time that Garma does something for himself, and he's willing to challenge his own family, go like, okay, I'm willing to, be my own person, and then stab in the back.
Well, I mean, the I'll give up my name and position for you thing, sure. Sorry, I was thinking when you were originally saying it, the whole drive towards I'll take them out with my last breath was what I thought you were talking about, but I realized halfway through saying it you were talking about giving everything up.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't think that taking out with last breath, that's not what his father would have wanted for him. Clearly, that's not what he wanted.
It follows
But
through on the guy
on the
who was arguing with Dozel about getting a promotion for nothing, and he's like, "No, I have to prove that I'm good enough."
yeah,
Same Garma who's on Degwin's flagship saying, "Our people are dying," and he's like going manic about it. Like
yeah.
it's that guy, the guy who was raised on the propaganda, basically.
Yeah, that is very much Fates as being a savvy family man, right? But the I will leave everything behind, including my own name, to be with you, Isolina. You know,
Well,
this doesn't work.
it also like this shows the commitment that Garma was claiming he had the whole time, but we never got to see it up until now.
Oh,
Because you have the commitment of, yeah, no, if this doesn't work, I'm yours. I'm there. Then the commitment of we're going down. Well, fuck it. Let's make this worth it.
I don't know. There's a bit of commitment riding yourself through on a open top tank in a war zone to, not getting yourself JFK'd. That I believe in the cause, that I'm going to stand out here. It's that old British tank commander, or I guess I don't know how many other tank commander war stories where they had to walk out amongst the tanks as a show of commitment, I guess is the word to use there. No matter if you're under fire or not, you're commanding the tanks from foot.
Yeah, but I
true.
think in that situation, it was more of like it was a mop up, right? And he wasn't alone. He was backed by all these people, stuff like that. At the end of the day, if they really took fire, he could run and have someone else take.
It wasn't a mop up. He was in charge of actually the takeover.
Yeah, but he was just the way it was presented. He was just blasting away. These people were not really didn't seem to be a real threat, right?
Well, I'm agreeing it's not really a real threat, but it was military versus civilian. It was basically the inverse of the anti-protesters thing, where we saw the Earth Federation opening fire on Zeon civilians at the very beginning. He was just doing the inverse, but he was still very much a threat because we saw people firing like rocket launchers from like desecrated buildings at him, and he apparently won, even though because all we saw was him riding the open top tank, but still, that was him trying to prove that he can do things.
Yeah.
I don't need you all to keep hoisting me up the ladder. I feel like it's him and Dozel that are on the far end of eating into the propaganda hype, where it's more like Giran and Kycelia are making the propaganda hype.
Okay.
Well, I don't think Dozel really bought into it. I think both of them, but particularly Dozel, is more like, this is my family, this is my duty, this is what I need to do. Because he's the first one who goes like, you did this Operation British. This is a war crime. We're gonna hang for this.
But before they do it, you remember his conversation with Ramba, where he's like completely trying to justify it. He is where Garma is like on the far side of being raised in it and having to be exposed to it that way. Dozel is also kind of on the younger end, because obviously Kycelia and Giran look so much older than him. Or they don't look older than him, but we know his real age. So they look older than what his age actually is. And he also is just on that wobbling side of feels like he knows what's going on, but when pressed about it, kind of argues on the side of the family because he seems to believe it too, which is that middle ground of propaganda, but also having the real information. That's why I keep putting Dozel in this like shaky middle ground. I feel like he's equal parts Garma, equal parts. Well, no. I guess he'd be equal parts Degwin, not Giran.
Yeah.
Well, Degwin's clearly. I mean, Degwin. No, Degwin seems to have the best interests of Zeon in mind, in that we should stop this fucking war. I think we've won as much as we're going to win, and now people are fucking dying, and they're gonna come for us.
Eventually, we're gonna run out of. Even if we have mobile suits, we're still gonna run out of troops and supplies and all that. And
versus Giran, who is just like, we should fight this until we win.
I relate him more to Degwin, only because the idea that when it truly comes down to it, whatever it's clear from the beginning, whatever has to be done will be done. But it's only once that button's pushed and never before. There's no prodding him into doing the thing that he doesn't want. He knows he shouldn't be doing until the actual button that really requires it is pushed.
Well, I mean, the whatever needs to be done will be done button is more of a Giran Kycilia thing. Kycilia.
Degwin also again, unless I'm misremembering who the specific people are.
Degwin's whole thing about letting loose after Revel fucking stabbed him in the back on the whole let's form a peace thing was more so let Giran off the leash.
Yes, but that's the way.
Not that Giran was ever on a leash.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying though, that is Giran who has accomplished the task.
But that's in that situation, that was Degwin's button to press.
I think when there's a person in the middle of the two things, it's more on the person on the end of the chain than it is the person at the top of the chain.
Well, no, because the person at the top of the chain is the one that ultimately is the one who takes responsibility for it too. So
I don't know that Degwin's taking responsibility for, because it even implies that Giran is going to be the one to hang for this if it ever happens.
Yeah, he's going to sell his son to it.
Degwin is the figurehead, and Giran is the mouthpiece. He is the leader. Giran is the actual leader.
The mastermind. He's the mastermind.
Arguably, Kycilia could also think that she's the leader. It's hard to tell, especially when one is the subterfuge leader and one is the Hitler.
Yeah.
I think Kycilia is gonna be. I think Kycilia is gonna cause the most damage out of all of the big players.
Well, let's see. Giran already killed half the human population. What is Kycilia gonna do to equal that one?
Other than that obvious first impact.
I mean, it was a pretty good first impact when you're trying to devastate things.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty hard for Kycilia to assassinate half the human population.
One go.
Well, even if she did
try?
that, she'd only be assassinating half of the existing population. Which would
be a
not
quarter,
be... Yeah.
Which would be a quarter of the original something.
I don't think you can beat Giran in this one.
Yeah.
That's why he's gotta hang. Oh man, I wish I could remember the Hateful Eight quote. You gotta hang mean bastards, but mean bastards you gotta hang. Is that it? Anyway, any final thoughts?
No.
That's it.
All right. Well, once again, I have been Theta. Below me has been Justin. Beneath him has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?